All right, so you guys should see in Blackboard a bunch of materials. I don't have the due dates and everything else yet. Here, I'm working on that just for you. And I will get all the due dates in there. I'll get all the other miscellaneous stuff, but the content itself is now preloaded in. I do have to make some adjustments. So you're going to see some stuff on this recording, like down here on the week, blah, 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 blah. That won't show up for you because their weeks don't match the syllabus weeks. So I have to go through and clean stuff up. So don't worry about that. For you, what you guys will need to know, like I mentioned on Tuesday, and for those of you now watching this online, was just an introduction to the class. In the first 8 weeks, and I'll go through the syllabus here, but in the first 8 weeks, we're going to cover the SOC Essentials stuff from EC Council. As you guys go through that material, you'll be able to end up doing labs. You'll do some quizzes along the way. And then at the very end, you'll have a pre-test in which you guys can study for the exam. So this has a certification exam at the very end. And you guys will cover all of that so you guys are prepared. We usually have about an 85 to 90% pass rate. Like it's really, really high because people just pay attention while they're doing this stuff, right? This material isn't meant to be super high level. It's actually meant to be at a much lower level. At the same time, when you guys see the ebook and stuff like that, don't freak out because it's so big. Like a lot of it's pictures and drawings and stuff to make it easy to understand what you're actually seeing. But the goal of this class is you guys are going to recover or review rather all of your fundamental computer networking concepts and the basics of a security operations center. So as an undergrad, that is the whole goal of this program, is to get you guys to be like a SOC Analyst 1, SOC Analyst 2. At the same time, you can apply those skills at many other different jobs, right? But that's kind of the focus of that job, because if you can do that job role, you could do that as several other job titles that are out there. So you'll be able to identify and explain major cybersecurity threats, vulnerabilities, while also be able to describing any of the core functions and operational structure of what a SOC would be like. Again, the goal in the first 8 weeks is you guys are going to do this because in the last 8 weeks, you guys are going to build a SOC, right? So you're going to take all those skills that you learned in the first 8 weeks, and we're actually just going to flip it, and you guys are going to start to apply it to build one out here in the classroom. For those of you online, I intend for you to be able to participate in that in some fashion. I'm not sure what that's going to look like just yet. If I am unable to work that out for the classroom style, there are labs that everybody else will be going through, and you'll see that here in the syllabus a little bit. So those essential SOC components are going to be something like process log management, including the collection, storage, and analysis of it, and then techniques for a cybersecurity incident detection and analysis. You'll also grasp the role of threat intelligence to be proactive in defense, execute basic threat hunting strategies, and implement a structured incident response plan to mitigate the cyber attack. It's going to cover the foundation of the cybersecurity principles and covering, like I said, network security, threat analysis, SOC, log analysis, threat intelligence, and incident response. All right. The goal when I said you guys are going to build your SOC is once you get the SOC up and running, we have several weeks allocated to that, then we're going to turn around and attack your SOC. And so you guys have to figure out in the logs what's going on, write up an incident response plan, and actually be able to execute it. The goal behind that and the reason behind that is employers are coming to me asking for these kind of people, and I don't have them yet. Or we have you like partially of the way there. But the biggest thing that people mess up is they want to have all the technical skills, but they forget how to write up when an incident actually happens. And so if you don't have those skills, then that's hard to teach. In other words, you have to just be able to do a couple incidents so that you can write up those response plans. Even back when I used to do capture the flag type activities in college, we were actually graded on how our response or the report was, not whether or not we captured all the flags. So in some cases, we not like only captured the flags, we took down the whole system, did all sorts of cool stuff. Didn't matter because we didn't have anybody to write the actual response plan. And then another team who actually had one of our students on it, we were kind of all split up. They won because he was an excellent writer for incident response and went on to go do that kind of stuff. So it's pretty important that you guys are able to do that side of it. That's an overview of what the first 8 weeks will look like syllabus wise. Everything else should be like a normal syllabus for me. coming into the fall semester. That's explaining the same thing. I'm just going to scroll down here to this part. So week 1 here is just a welcome. Again, for those of you that are panicking that the show wasn't up, this is completely normal with EC Council. I do this every year. So the goal is to get you guys into class, give you an overview. The only thing I'm changing up this year is that last 8 weeks, instead of sending you specifically through the CYSA labs, is that we're going to focus on this game environment on this side. So again, if I can get the online students to be able to participate in this, which is my goal, if we can, great. If not, then they will do the CYSA labs, which is not a negative. It's the same type of material. We're just going to be actually implementing it in class, if that makes sense here. If something completely blows up with that environment, you guys will fall back and do the labs. Okay, so this is the year that I'm going to try to do the gamified version of this so that we have a chance of getting more hands-on. Otherwise, those are the topics we'll cover there from week 2 to week 9. The Linux refresher this week, I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. And then down to week 15, even week 14, you guys can start taking the practice exam prep for the actual certification, and you guys can start doing that proctored exam that you'll take for the certification itself starting in week 14 if you want. So if you want to take it early so that you don't have to deal with it during finals week, you're welcome to go take the cert during those times. All right. Anybody have any questions on that in terms of week to week?
Since you can start the exam in week 14, would that be like open? Like, can you start it like on week 14, like finish it in the next week or something?
So when you do the schedule proctor, you're actually scheduling a time with the certification testing place. And then it's a proctored exam. So you got to be on camera and all that. The reason I say don't wait till week 16 is they tend to get busy. And so I want everybody to have some time to do it. So if you have time to do it in those first 2 weeks, great. If you'd rather do it during finals week, fine by me too. All right. I would say it's mostly what's your comfort level at this point. If you're taking the practice exam stuff and the exam prep and you're scoring high on those, I would say go ahead and take the cert. If you're not, well, then go ahead and study, figure that kind of stuff out till you are feeling like you're doing well, then take the exam. There's a reason why I want that percentage to stay 90% and higher, right? You should take it when you're ready for it, not be forced to take it. Unless you're in the last week and then you're forced to take it. All right, cool. All the other stuff is the standard boilerplate syllabus. So that's out there for you. This getting started is just a bunch of information about the EC Council portion of it in terms of what it looks like, what this course is, that kind of stuff. You guys can read through that. And we'll talk a little bit about the labs. Well, actually, I'm just going to hide that one because we actually have a video for that portion. And then the resources. Zoom link. The Zoom link will be there for you guys here on campus. Obviously, I want you to be here because especially during those last 8 weeks, but even in the first 8 weeks, it's important. That way you guys can get some questions answered. Otherwise, like if you're sick, if you have a cold, if you don't feel well, please do not show up to my class. All right. I have a 10-month-old at home. I do not want to take that home because then I get to deal with multiple sick people. So you are immediately excused if you have a sickness. Email me. We're fine, but please don't show up sick. I don't want that. Okay. You can attend via the Zoom or you can go back and watch the recording. So all these classes, if you've never had a class with me, I record all the class sessions. They end out there on YouTube. You guys can be able to watch those back at any time. They're not edited. It's just a raw class session, whatever's out there. Okay. And I will try my best to get those posted within the same day they're recorded. This year, I don't have exactly back-to-back classes, so I should have some time to upload it during the middle of the day. Last year, it didn't happen until like 5 p.m. because I just had back-to-back classes all the way through. Purchase links. This is the one you guys will want to pay attention to this week. So for those SOC materials, the exam and all that kind of stuff, all that information is here in the Essentials purchase link. So what you'll do is you'll click on this link here. You'll want to go out and buy that. That is the $75.99 portion. That will get you 6 months access to the lab environment, which is more than enough for this class. You will also have 12-month access to do the exam prep. However, you guys wanted to take the exam by the end of the semester. And you have a 12-month remote proctored exam voucher from that date as well. Again, you guys are going to take that exam now at the end of the semester. Because we are a CAE institution, you guys will also get one-time bonus-free retake there as well. Now, that is an on-site voucher, so it's going to have a little bit of a fee for you guys to do it remote proctored. We don't have an on-site testing facility yet. I'm working on that, but it's actually harder to implement than we thought it would be. I have to find somebody that knows nothing about technology to run it. It's kind of hard when you're in the tech building, right? So we'll get that up there and going. Let's see, anything else in this? So yeah, purchase link there. Try to get that out this week. That way you have access to all the materials and the quizzes and the labs and stuff for next week. I know some students panic a little bit about that, but it's really nice because you walk out of here with an actual cert by the time you're done. So, and then all the other labs and everything else you'll do beyond this will all be for free here at Fort Hays. But these are good lab sets and good book material. All right. Let's see. If you guys do this and you need that retake voucher, you just need to contact within the 90 days Yinny here at the very bottom. And she's our representative for you to be able to schedule that retake. Again, it'll have a small fee just because of the remote proctored side of it, but you would get a very reduced account. I think it's like 10 or 15 bucks or something. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's at that level. It's very, very low. If you guys have issues redeeming the material, so you purchase this link, they're going to send you like 3 or 4 emails. All right. Of those 3 or 4 emails, your labs are going to be in one facility or one website, right? Your book is going to be in another website. The exam prep is in another website, that kind of thing. So pay attention to those 4 emails when they come in. They'll give you redemption codes. There are videos I'm about to show you here in a second. Just follow the video. Everything goes super smooth. When students don't follow directions, it doesn't go super smooth. So just follow the directions. If you have issues, email a support down here at the bottom with your emails that came in, and they're usually very quick about getting things redeemed. I haven't had any students have issues if they messed up a redemption or tried the wrong code in the wrong place. These guys can usually get it fixed. All right. This redeem key information, again, these are video tutorials on exactly how to do each one of those as you go through. So just follow those videos. Everything should go pretty smooth. I did upload the full PDF of the ebook. So when you guys do this, you guys will be locked into like the EPUB version where you have to go online and read it. If you're one of those that would rather sit there and read it on your Kindle or laptop, tablet, whatever else, you can pull up this PDF and read that. Again, it says 753 pages. There's lots of graphics. All right. It's not 753 pages of text. So, as a matter of fact, the whole first part of this is just fluff telling you about all the different stuff. And then after that, you get in this material. So this is what like a page would look like. Makes sense? It's not super dense as it goes through there. But for quite frankly, these books are like super dense because there's a ton of great information in them. So you should be able to use this as reference as you study later in life, when you get jobs, that kind of stuff. That's a really good document to keep back so that you can go back, Control F, and search through it. Or that's the old school way of doing it. You should be using AI models to be able to suck this in and ask questions about it. All right. If you don't know how to do that, we'll do that. Okay. Anybody have any questions on the books and the materials and how that part works? Cool. So for week 1 here, the only thing I want you to do is go out to this Linux Unhatched link. It's a free login on this side. You just need to enroll. If you don't have a Cisco Networking Academy account, you can just click on the enroll straight through here. I would encourage you guys just to click the enroll, even if you do have an account. It's a little bit easier just to do it straight through the enroll. All right. This one is slated. It says about 8 hours worth of material. That's for like somebody that is going through it super, super slow. You should be able to get through this in a couple hours in there. I've had people finish this in an hour kind of thing. Especially if you already know Linux. If you don't know Linux and you need that refresher, take your time going through it because a big chunk of what we do in this class is going to be in Linux. So, and I believe that other student was in Linux at the time. So this would be one to get you jump started kind of thing. All right. There is a little quiz or exam associated with it. I'm not looking at that for a score. Use that for your own judgment to see whether or not you remember Linux. Make sense? We're not going to use it for a score in the class. I just want you to reference your material. Okay, very simple. If you guys haven't used it before, it'll give you the reading material kind of stuff on the left. It'll give you a Linux console on the right, and you just try commands all day long. It's very, very easy to use, very intuitive. Okay, anybody got any questions about this week? Does anybody want extra homework this week? No? All right, I just thought I'd ask. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording there. Actually, no, I won't. Sorry, I had one more thing. The actual boring PowerPoint. All right, so in these first couple of weeks here, we're gonna have PowerPoints. I'm not a PowerPoint guy. You guys have had me in class. I don't like PowerPoints. So I'm gonna skim through them to give you the highlights of what's in there, but I will not read word for word what's on a PowerPoint. You all are capable of reading. All right, and we have tools these days that make that a whole lot easier. So let's see if this will put this on the right one. Hey, it worked. Cool. All right, I think you guys know who I am. Qualifications. Yeah, let's just keep going. I'm more qualified than others. We'll talk about that joke later. All right. Again, the security SOC Essentials is just covering the SOC or the Security Operations Center. So when I keep saying SOC, you guys should know that acronym by the end of this. It's the Security Operations Center. Does anybody know what the networking guys would have?
NOC.
There you go. NOC, right? And that's their Network Operations Center. A lot of times now, most people had their funding dumped into a NOC. They're adding the SOC capability to that. So a good example of that, like Nextech is a local internet service provider. They used to have this really, really nice NOC. They have now grown that NOC out and also started doing SOC opportunities as well. Obviously more money for them to be able to collect from other companies along the way. But we're going to make sure that everybody understands security posture and how to detect things. That's the biggest thing in this, is being able to do incident detection, threat intelligence and hunting, and then incident response stuff. Right. Let's see here. Is there anything in here that I haven't already said so I don't repeat myself? Other than, yeah, that one. It's extremely fast paced because we're covering it in 8 weeks, right? And that's actually kind of the recommended one. I think they give you 12 weeks in that, but as a undergrad college level, this stuff was originally written for end of high school to two-year community college. So you guys should be able to get through this material fairly quickly as you go through. That exam that I talked about for the CERT is 75 questions. You get 2 hours to do it, and you'll end up doing it through their exam portal. And in your case, it'll be remote proctored. Most students haven't had any issues on the remote proctoring side. Like you have a camera, you just take it. I think you show your ID, that kind of stuff, and you're good to go. Passing score, I believe for that one is a 70 or 80%. All right. The way I use that score is you will just get like 75 questions, right? That would be 100% if you got them all. I use whatever score you came back. That's what score goes in for your CERT exam score. Yes.
Do you know if it's one where like it locks it in once you go forward, or can you like go back? You don't, it's fine.
I don't know that answer. I do have that answer. It's locked in here and we will look at that next. Okay. Good point. Actually, after I said that, yes, I do have a way to look at that. It is multiple choice. No multiple answer. So that's always fun. Okay. Lab sessions. You're going to see their lab environment. It looks a little bit like this. And it works really well. So it's kind of it's a lot like our NetLab. If you guys have taken NetLab stuff from us, you guys will in the second half. It's got a little bit different experience as it works through, but it works pretty slick. That's the end of the PowerPoint. So you good, right? You didn't want, I told you they're going to be fast. All right. Anybody have any questions as to what we're doing in the class? No, you're burned out from week 1. I understand. All right. We'll stop the recording.